Okay, we're doing the right side of the screen now. If you'll notice here at the top, there's a box and it's got a name in it. Mine says Lonnie's New on USB. Basically, that is my device out there. I have a 20-watt hooked up via USB cable, and that's where it is. With the down arrow here, if you had more than one machine, you could hit the down arrow and you could select a different machine. But since I've only got one's there. Always make sure that that green dot is there. Then that tells you that this machine is talking to the computer. So we're good and running. Refresh. What that does is that goes out and takes a picture inside the box, and it shows you your wood. Here's my image on top of the wood. Now I hit autofocus, and what it's going to do is the laser is going to focus itself. The head's going to come over, hover over the wood. You'll see a red dot on the wood, and it's going to adjust the focal length on the laser, between the laser and the wood. Always, when you're doing this section, look at your project and make sure that red dot is hitting the wood. Especially if you're doing something that's small, you got to make sure it's hitting there. Once it's done, you'll see the wood kind of change a little bit color, maybe a little lighter or something, but it may shift a little bit too, because now what it's returning is the image is closest, the camera is as close to that project as it's going to get. So when it shoots from far away, it may shift what it looks like. At this point, I always tell people, always readjust your image to make sure that it's going to be where you want it to be. Once it's set up where you want it to be, run up, hit start, processing status screen shows up. Estimated processing time is down there bottom, towards the bottom right. May not always be accurate, but it's close guesstimate. Then you hit send. Once you hit send, it's going to send it over to the machine, and then this screen here is going to pop up. All you got to do is go over to the machine, push the button, and she'll start working from there. Okay, the next thing that you'll see down here says material, and there's a drop-down screen. We hit this screen over here shows up. Right now, I'm using basswood 3mm. So you collect it up, and what this is going to change is going to change your presets down here. Okay, got that there. I'm going to hit confirm. Now when I click my image, and I scroll down here to preview, click preview, I can select, okay, I want it to look like this. Click that, it automatically puts the numbers in for you. Click off of it, and now the numbers on this image have been set to what I clicked on, 40, 150. We'll come down to that in a minute. This box here is for autofocusing. If it's autofocusing, you don't have to worry about putting the thickness in. If you click off autofocusing, it'll give you a safety alert, but then you have to manually type in the thickness of the wood that you're using, or whatever the object is. And what that does is that tells it where to focus that beam at, how high off of the board. Okay. For most stuff, always leave it on autofocus. When you have an image here that you're going to do, if I tell it right now to autofocus and start, that image will engrave on the wood. If I click this box here that says ignore for processing, you see it kind of grays out a little bit. Now this could be anywhere on the screen and it's not going to print. It's just there. That comes in handy if you work with multiple images, layering and stuff like that, to do it. Here's our image. We can line engrave it, which is basically an outline of whatever it is. We can fill engrave it, which is basically burning the image in to the wood, or we can cut. Okay, on most of the things that you do, it'll pop up different numbers down here. These are all power adjustment things, and you're not going to be able to see them all. You have to scroll the screen down a little bit in order to get to them. So if I'm on fill engrave and I want to adjust my parameters down here, I scroll down and it gives me access to the line density and a preview of what it is. Line power is the amount of power that's gone to the laser head. At this setting, it's 40%. Speed is how fast it is. It's in millimeters per second because I got my machine set on millimeters, 150 millimeters per second. Number of passes is how many times you do it. You can go over it twice, go over it 3 times, however many, whatever you want to do. And line density, when you increase the line density, it increases the dots per square inch on the actual engraving. It makes it stand out a little bit more. The higher the DPI, the better quality the image is. It does slow it down a little bit, but whatever. And then down below that, as before, is our preview for our line settings. And this will only scroll up and down when you're on fill engrave and cut. When you're on line engrave, those are your only settings that you get. On fill engrave, you get more, and on cut, you get more. On cut, it gives you the power, the speed, the number of passes, and then enhanced engraving. I always run with that on it. It uses air to help assist in the cutting. And add perforated line. If you click on that, if you're doing a part that has small pieces in it, the perforated line will make it so that those little bitty parts hang on. They don't fall down the grill and fall to the bottom and get burned up by the laser going by another pass. That adds a perforated line. And then smart recommendations, with that's turned on, it's got a set of parameters that it follows. And that only shows up when you hit add perforated line. If you turn it off, the smart recommendations, you can adjust the frequency of how many perforations there are, the size of the perforations. Just be aware that if you make this perforation large, breaking them apart at the end can be kind of hard. So try to keep that small. That covers all of those. Okay, the next part down here at the bottom is layers. This is for more advanced users, but basically here is the lion, and you see under the black square here is this image. It's got the picture of the lion, and it's got a picture of the trailer. Up under the red is a picture of the cat, and what it is the cat is set for cut. These others are set for bitmap engraving. And these down here, you can adjust where you want them to fall. You can minimize them. But instead of coming up here, if these were close together and trying to pick one, sometimes if you got little images and they're hard to do, you can come down here and click on it, and that becomes highlighted. That's a quick shortcut. This one here is set to cut. If you click on layers, you can check what they are. So say I want to see everything in my image that is going to line engrave. It should highlight everything, which I have nothing. So everything in my image that has fill engrave, it highlighted them right here. Everything in my image that cuts, it highlights it. It's right there. It's a way to go through and see what does what. Okay, we're going to go wrap around and do this side. This down here, canvas, if I hit the empty one that's plus, I can click on that, and that gives me a new canvas to work on. Or I can go back to the other one. So what I can do is I can do a bunch of stuff here. I want to go change some stuff and make something else over here, work on it. I can have multiple canvases open, and all I got to do is click back over here to the one I want to work on. I can edit it, do whatever. But what that allows me to do is, okay, I've done all this. I send it to the printer. I want to do something else. I come down here, hit on the next canvas. I can make something else up here while this other one's printing. Do my own thing over here. All right. If I come back to this, these colors down here will change. Say I'm going to fill engrave this up here. I can change the color for my layers over there. And that just sometimes makes it easier to see on the background. If it's against another image, I can't see it on one particular color, I can change it. And that's all that does. That doesn't mean anything prints in color. The preview button here is, if you hit preview, all your open canvases will show up here. Give you a little bit bigger picture so you can figure out which one you want, click on it, and go ahead and work on it. And that takes care of the right side, except for when you click on the background image with nothing highlighted, you get a screen over here, and it will have a place here for notes. So if you want to put wooden plaque for John Smith and how much you charged for it, whenever you call this file up in the future, all those notes are going to be there, and that's a free-forming field that can be made bigger or smaller. Okay, scroll down a little bit. Material preview. This comes in handy for mugs, but you can do it for flat stuff too. You get material preview, and it will show you, here's your material, here's the image on top of it. Processing path automatically arrange. You should leave it at that, and if it's left at that, it will do fill engrave, line engrave, and then cut, or whatever, but it will cut very last. If you take it off of automatic arrange and go to by layer, whatever layer order it's in here is what it's going to process it out at. So if you got cut first, it's going to cut it, and then it's going to try to engrave on a piece that's already cut. It may not stay in place, it may move around, so I would leave that at automatic arrange. And that covers it.